So yesterday I met with a bunch of survivors from my old boarding school. I previously did a video about my experience of being abused in boarding school. Yesterday, some of the survivors of abuse from my old boarding school, we got together. We had a wonderful time meeting together. I met so many amazing, beautiful people that I'm in awe of. It was an incredibly powerful day. And what I did was ahead of time, I basically booked a day off work for after. So I normally work on Sundays. The gathering was on a Saturday. I knew I'd need to take time off work on a Sunday to be able to process it. Yeah. So, for years I probably kind of like buried things. And these times I like to spend time to process things when I'm feeling a certain way, to instead of avoiding that, to lean into that and think about, okay, what's going on and everything. So I want to share some of that today with you, because some people said the last video was helpful. So I'm hoping this video might be of help to some people. I'm not going to tell anyone else's story. Other people's stories are not mine to tell. I'm just going to share from myself. I'm not going to share anything that other survivors said yesterday. That's their story to tell when they want to, as and how they see best. So first thing I want to say is that yesterday was bittersweet, because I met old schoolmates who I didn't know had been abused. So you see an old schoolmate, and on the one hand, there's a part of you that has joy to see an old friend and reconnect. And at the same time, there's this pain that you're realizing, oh, it happened to you too. And so there's these strange emotions going on where you've got sorrow going on, but you've got joy at the same time. So it's like bittersweet. So today I'm kind of savoring the bittersweet taste as I think about this joy at having reconnected with people I haven't seen for years. And at the same time, a sorrow to know that this happened. And especially when you've known people when they were so young, and to consider the toll that the abuse has taken on them, it really is a tragic thing. And so it's painful to see that, and it's heartbreaking. So that's one of the things that I'm grieving today, as I'm thinking about my friends, the things that happened to them. Also thinking about some of the people who I didn't know them, but I've heard about what's happened to them, and grieving that as well. And today, kind of like bearing witness to that, and like testifying, not in court, but testifying here right now, what happened to them was not right. That was not right. And that is something to grieve and to mourn and to mark and say it was not right. And an appropriate response is to be sad over this. That's okay. I don't have to bury the sadness. I can lean into that and say, no, this is right to be sad about it. And at the same time, what I find is when we grieve over stuff, and when we count the cost, and when we actually think, look, I'm not going to bury it, I'm going to actually count the losses, and I'm actually going to think, yes, this is wrong. What I find with the whole process of grieving is that it does bring up anger as well. And so I noticed today, whilst I was mainly trying to spend time on my own processing stuff, I noticed that one of my children asked me a question about something. And when I answered them, I noticed as I answered them, there was a bit of attitude, how I answered them. And then I was thinking, what was that? And I was like, oh, it's the anger, isn't it? Because when you're grieving stuff, anger starts to come up, and anger is an appropriate response. When you know something so bad has been done to someone, so evil and wicked, anger is a right response. But what happened was then I pointed that at one of my kids, and I wasn't, don't get it twisted, I wasn't like shouting at them and stuff, but there was an attitude. So I was like, oh, so I went to them and I said, hey, I'm sorry for the way I just answered your question just then. and just said sorry to them and did a quick repair with them. So anger is one of the things coming up today. And so I'm considering that, and also making sure I don't point my anger at the wrong people. What was the other thing I was thinking? Oh yeah. So I had an old memory resurface and become fresh. It wasn't something that I've forgotten, but it's something that I processed in the past. And it's kind of like onion layers. You know when you get an onion, you're about to start cooking, and you're like, oh, I'll take the skin off. You take it off, and you're like, yeah, it looks like there's still skin on it. And you take off a layer, and you're like, it's still there, And with onion layers, they just keep on going. And you're like, and how do you get to the heart of an onion? Well, through many, many layers. And sometimes you've talked to a trauma-informed therapist about events, and you've worked through them, and they don't impact you the same way as they used to. But then one day something happens that makes a memory more alive again. And then you're like, oh, and so that happened to me today. And so as a result of that, I had a good cry over that. And I thought, let me just let this out, not bury it, but actually let it out again, and recognize this is all part of the process. So there's that. And then the other thing I want to say is that today and yesterday, I'm in a sense of awe from being around the survivors I was around. I mean, it is incredible to see people first to turn up to a gathering like that takes incredible bravery. To see people turn up, to see people speak about stuff, to put some words to the unspeakable. It is absolutely incredible to see the bravery people have had, to hear about people going through the court process. I'm just in awe of the people I spent time with yesterday. Absolutely. I mean, my life has been enriched by being around these people. Just incredible. Absolutely incredible. I'm amazed at people's perseverance. I'm amazed at people's bravery. Just absolutely amazing. Absolutely fantastic. And so basically it is that's what I'm processing today, and what I want to say is to everyone out there who's just barely hanging on. You don't feel like you're amazing, but I'm telling you, you are amazing. And I know some of you out there just hanging on by a thread. And I want you to know that you are amazing, and that I'm here for you, and that there's other people here for you. And I know that, that speaking broadly of the survivor community, because I'm in contact with a number of survivors who were abused in different contexts. And I just want you to know I'm here for you. And particularly, if you're someone who has followed me on social media, and you sometimes wondered, should I reach out to Duncan? I'm not too sure. Please do. If you need to reach out to someone, I'm here. And there's other people out there who are here for you as well. And as we go into this Christmas period, which I know can be quite a downer for a lot of people, I just want everyone out there to know there are people to talk to. Please do reach out to someone and talk to them. And I just want you all to know you are amazing. And everyone who I spent time with yesterday, you are absolutely incredible. And I love you all very much, and I'm very proud of all of you. And thank you so much for letting me spend time with you yesterday. You're such a blessing. All right. God bless.